Interesting activity, and before we got into it, I thought it was impossible. I was reading the instructions. How can you prevent the Ziploc bag with water from leaking when it is stabbed? Sounds hard, don't it? And it was. So initially what we did, we got the bag. The materials were already there. We got the bag and we
Tell us the materials. Tell us what you got.
The materials. So we had Ziploc bags, 2 of them. We had water, a lot. We had 3 pencil crayons and we had 2 bowls or containers for contingency in the case that the water spilled. So, what we did initially, we got 1 bag, and this was the initial experiment. We pierced it from one side and then we poured the water into the bag. Now we noticed that even though the water wasn't spilling exponentially, there was still some leakage. So we got to thinking, how can we prevent the water from completely being sealed in the bag? So this was the idea. Pour water in the bag first and then pierce, as you can see here, as Mr. Gaynor is holding up, quite capably. As you saw here, we pierced the bag horizontally instead of doing it vertically from different angles, and the water did not escape. Now this is the rationale behind it. No water spills out the Ziploc bag because of its chemical composition, and that's the bag's composition. It is made of something that we call polymer, and as long as the surface isn't broken, which means as long as the pencil isn't removed, the contents of the bag will remain sealed inside. Now we used our content knowledge of a few disciplines that we had around the table. Of course, we had an modern languages. We also had myself English literature. Looking at this blend, it would be quite hard to find how it's applicable to all these groups, but we did find a few. Here, we used our content knowledge on biology to substantiate our theme. An organism or a cell is punctured through and through, even though there will be damage on the inside of the cell. As long as the foreign object is not removed, there will be no escape of the contents from the inside of the cell. Now, this is where guidance and counseling comes in, and as well as literature, and this is my favorite aspect of it, because we use the bag and the pencils as a metaphor. Now look at it. More specifically, the psychosocial and self-esteem aspect of it. The bag, water, and pencils were used as metaphors for the human mind and its relationship with negativity and tragedy. Whenever something external, pencil, whenever external stimulus penetrates the mind, the contents of our character do not have to escape. We do not have to change. Though we are permanently compromised by the negativity or the tragedy, this does not have to eliminate the functionality of the individual. The bag does. Am I preaching today? Can I get an amen on this side? All right. The functionality of the individual or the bag does not have to change. The bag can still hold water. We can still hold the contents of our character. I thought this was a beautiful lesson on resilience. And then we moved on to another discipline in the sciences, which is physics. Refraction was observed in this experiment. As the pencil shape, as you can see, it was altered through the passing of the water. When light passes through water, the shapes change. And now I turn over to my most capable foreign language.
Alright, hello everybody. Alright, as it relates to modern languages, French and Spanish, our language really focuses on communication, verbs, and specifically tenses. So, at the 5th form level, our boys are specifically, one of the topics that they have to really focus on for writing, because it's a language skill, is how to develop their verbs in terms of tenses. So we have 2 specific tenses that really focuses, they're both of the past tense, but each of them focuses on something a bit different. So the preterite tense in Spanish, for example, it focuses on something that happened, while the imperfect tense, it focuses on something that was happening. So, in terms of telling a story or giving an account of something, in this case, the experiment, the boys could write about the experiment, not only in English language, but also in French and Spanish. For social studies, our colleague was telling us that the boys have an SBA where they have to identify a problem and they have to work out ways of how they can, really find a resolution or solution to that problem. And that content here can also be applied to this theory. English language, in terms of the writing, how well it is detailed, for physics and integrated science. So at the primary level, in the 6th grade, students are introduced to refraction, which is the bending of the light rays. And at the secondary level, in high school, they are in the content area of physics specifically, they're also introduced to the same thing. So just a little touch on what Mr. Kaniki said earlier. So if you realize that after the pentacrayon entered the bag, the shape inside, although the pentacrayons are straight, inside the bag, if you look closely, it appears distorted. Right. Similarly, when we try to enter the pen, even in a, horizontal or vertical? This way.
Vertical.
If you realize that when we put in the pen, although the pen is straight, when it was inside, it seemed a bit broken, distorted, jagged like a staircase. Right, refraction, so the bending of the light rays. In terms of technology now, of course we're living in a technological era where we have to document everything. So we use the phones to take a video and to take photos that we can put in our portfolio.
Ooh.
One more thing, adding to what they said, as it relates to problem solving spreads across many disciplines. It's also part of IT, so writing a algorithm, a step-by-step solution as to how you would solve the problem, that is a part of IT as well. So you can use something like this to teach problem solving in IT, as it is a big topic going into 4th, 5th form, even 3rd form as well. So it is a very good, yes, from 1st to 5th form.
And our final thing to focus on, because when we are talking about the STEAM approach, we talk about our 4 C's, so specifically critical thinking, which goes across all disciplines. First, the first bag that we tried, we shaped we used a different angle, so the pencils were a bit slant, and we're depending on where we had pierced the bag, there was a little bit of leaking. So we had to think critically, pull our ideas together, the collaboration coming in. And then we're able to see what went wrong. Let's make a comparison of what went wrong. How can we improve? And with our second bag, it came out wonderful. And then collaboration, it's definitely teamwork next to dreamwork. So we all had to pull our ideas in our subject areas and also, work together. And that's the end of our presentation.
Wow, love it.